Okay, let's dive into this. If you're watching this explainer, chances are you're intimately familiar with that agonizing daily battle against your alarm clock. You know the drill, right? You set it the night before, feeling absolutely pumped and highly motivated to conquer the world. But then 6 a.m. rolls around and poof, that motivation just completely vanishes and you hit snooze again. Well, today, we're going to look at an objective system override, one that's based on how our brains actually work, so we can fix your early mornings for good.
Think about the old way most of us try to tackle this. We rely entirely on motivation, we literally just tell ourselves to try harder, and we try to muscle through the morning using raw willpower. But here's the thing. Willpower is a finite resource and your brain is incredibly smart at conserving it. So we're shifting to the new way. Instead of white-knuckling your way out of bed, we're going to use system design. We're going to systematically reduce the uncertainty surrounding your mornings, which is the actual root cause of your resistance, and we're going to program your biology. The goal? To make waking up early stop being a daily fight and become an automatic response.
Here's the blueprint for this explainer. We're essentially installing 5 core modules to rewrite your brain's operating system. First, why you fail. Second, setting your biological anchor. Third, engineering a dopamine bridge. Fourth, flipping the friction script. And finally, surviving the adaptation phase. Let's jump right into Module 1, Why You Fail at Mornings, the Uncertainty Glitch.
So, your brain resists early mornings for one core fundamental reason: uncertainty. The second you wake up, your brain is immediately scanning for threats and rewards. If there's uncertainty about your energy levels or what reward is waiting for you, or the physical cost of getting out of that warm, cozy bed, your brain instantly defaults to the safest, highest immediate reward it knows, which is just going back to sleep. But the moment you remove that uncertainty, the resistance completely collapses. We absolutely have to build predictable protocols so your brain knows exactly what's happening.
Moving right along to Module 2, Setting Your Biological Anchor. This is all about rhythm over intention.
Now, what's really interesting here is that this shifts the focus entirely away from when you actually go to bed. Most people think fixing their morning starts with their bedtime. Actually, scratch that. It doesn't. Your brain runs on rhythm, not intention. Your absolute most powerful lever is your circadian anchor. You have to pick a fixed wake-up time and protect it aggressively. I mean, even if you slept terribly, even if you feel sluggish. Why? Because when you anchor that wake-up time, your body physically adapts. Within just a few days, your system starts preparing you for wakefulness before the alarm even rings. Your core temperature rises, cortisol peaks earlier, and your alertness shifts forward. Once this anchor is set, you aren't forcing yourself awake anymore. Your biology is literally releasing you into wakefulness.
Of course, to make that morning anchor work, your body actually needs to crave sleep at night. You can't just force yourself to fall asleep. But what you can do is build what's called sleep pressure. This is the physical need for sleep that you build up over the course of the day. Think of it like earning your sleep. How do you do that? By moving your body, staying awake for long continuous periods, and crucially, not overstimulating your brain with massive inputs of information late at night. If you're taking random afternoon naps, sitting around completely sedentary, or doom scrolling your phone at midnight, well, you're venting that sleep pressure. And without it, waking up early is always going to feel incredibly unnatural.
All right, Module 3, Engineering a Dopamine Bridge, the Neurological Handshake.
Here's a fascinating reality for you. Your brain doesn't actually hate waking up early. No way. What it hates is waking up into nothing. If you wake up and your only prospect is a freezing cold room, hard work, and a miserable commute, yeah, your brain goes on strike. You need a dopamine bridge. This is a connection between the effort of waking up and a small, immediate reward. Your dopamine bridge needs to be small, predictable, and slightly rewarding. And no, that definitely does not mean doom scrolling social media or throwing yourself into a cold shower panic. It could be something as simple as a specific, delicious coffee you only allow yourself to have at 6 a.m., or an upbeat playlist. It just proves to your brain that waking up equals an immediate reward. It's a neurological handshake that makes your brain want to cooperate with you.
But look, to even get to that dopamine bridge, you have to bypass your brain's defense mechanisms first. You absolutely must compress the decision window down to 0. Step 1, the alarm rings. Step 2, sit up immediately. Step 3, feet on the floor. Make it entirely mechanical, almost boring. Why? Because the longer you lie there thinking about it, the lower your chances of actually getting up. Thinking activates negotiation. Should I get up? Maybe just 5 more minutes. Did I get enough sleep? And negotiation immediately activates resistance. By making the movement pre-decided and automatic, you bypass that whole internal debate entirely.
Okay, moving into Module 4, Flipping the Friction Script, Strategic Environment Design.
Think of this concept as friction in reverse. Most productivity advice tells you to reduce friction in your life, right? But advanced systems use strategic friction. First, we intentionally make the bad habit, staying in bed, much harder. Put your alarm across the room so you physically have to walk to it. Leave a glass of cold water nearby to shock your system awake. Leave your curtains slightly open so the morning light actually hits you. Then, we make the good habit, getting out of bed, completely effortless. Have your clothes already laid out. Have your very first task crystal clearly defined. 0 decisions required. You aren't relying on morning discipline here. You're simply setting a trap the night before that biases your outcome toward getting up.
So the absolutely crucial point to understand here is that light is not just visibility. It's a literal instruction manual for your brain. It is the single most important switch you can flip. Morning light tells your brain to stop producing melatonin, that's your sleep hormone, and start producing alertness. If you wake up in total darkness, your brain stays in night mode, totally regardless of your best intentions. The advanced move is to expose your eyes to light within minutes of waking up. Natural sunlight is the absolute best for sure, but if it's dark outside, flip on those bright artificial lights immediately. Next up, you need to stabilize this new identity through data, because your brain is highly skeptical. It doesn't believe your motivational self-talk. It only believes what you repeat. So track the data. Track your wake-up time, your sleep time, your daily energy levels. And do this objectively, not emotionally. When your brain starts seeing the documented pattern, like, hey, we got up at 6 a.m. 3 days in a row and our energy is actually totally fine, it stops treating this early morning thing as some random painful effort. It starts viewing it as a proven system backed by solid evidence.
Finally, we reach Module 5, Surviving the Adaptation Phase, the Drop-Off Zone.
3 to 7. This is the exact window of days where the vast majority of people will just throw their hands up and quit their new routine. During days 3 through 7, you are going to feel off. You'll experience lower energy, slight physical resistance, and some really intense mental pushback. Your brain is essentially going to scream at you that this whole thing is a terrible idea.
But listen to me. That discomfort is not failure. It is simply your brain updating a long-standing pattern. It's just a software update. Most people misinterpret that fatigue and resistance as proof that the system just isn't working for them. But what's actually happening is that the system is entirely new, and your biological software just hasn't stabilized yet. It is so critical that you push through this specific phase without constantly changing the plan or tweaking your alarm time. Just hold the line.
And this brilliantly illustrates the end goal. Once your brain adapts to that new circadian anchor and the dopamine bridge, the effort required drops incredibly. You aren't forcing yourself anymore. Waking up early consistently isn't about transforming into some mythical, highly disciplined superhero, you know? It's simply about making your current system predictable enough that your brain stops fighting it. When the system is perfectly clear, your brain complies. Early mornings stop feeling like this massive act of discipline and simply become your default setting.
So, we've broken down the exact mechanism of morning resistance and the system override you need to beat it. Now, the choice is entirely yours. Are you going to wake up tomorrow morning and try to negotiate with a groggy, tired brain using sheer willpower? Or will you take control tonight and build the exact system your biology is desperately waiting for? Think about that as you set your alarms tonight. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you next time.